everybody. Let's get to it. It's time to take, oh baby, as we head over to the casters.
Thank you so much, guys. And I gotta say, I'm a bit worried for the Sonics players, man. Those guys are absolutely jacked. They've been spending so much time in the gym, getting all built. 4 chicken dinners, that's some fat that they're gonna have to burn off. These guys are just racking them up.
They're doing it with the recoil of their guns as the burning plane takes to the sky once more. Percentages or not, we're making it happen here. Things are not to be easy for these teams trying to come out victorious in PGS2 Grand Finals.
What did you do to us, analyst, cursing us with a burning plane coming out? It is going to be at least the tail end of it over on that northwestern island, so at least it's on the right pathing to be friendly.
True. Not too many teams are in the northwest. Harmosan and Wolsong, not too many teams do go up there. It's only Game PT out of the plane in the end. We do have Third on 5 and Forest Gaming flying side by side as the plane crashes into the ocean and our players hit the ground. There we go. Big explosion as we now take to the ground for the only time today and last time in the tournament at Takeo.
Looking out, no big crazy shifts than we've seen in far as drops go. Do you want to point out around that the eastern area is going to be where we're seeing Sonics go for their drop out. They are going to have Genji just south of them. Wide spreads on these initial drops. No surprise, just given the way that the plane comes in, right? You've got more breathing space over there than you can kind of see all the teams narrow down as it gets in, as you can't quite drop as far. So that means that you're having to make a much more committed drop.
Exactly. We're seeing a few shots fired from Falcons down towards question mark as well. Seems like they should be safe though as the first circle pops and oh my God, that's Western. Eastern, sorry, but holy, that is that's half a circle unplayable.
And yeah, the red line's going to bisect through and make a big problem. Sonics don't really have to worry about coming in from the southwest this time, as they're just in the absolute middle of it. FaZe Clan also has been doing a good job on getting some gatekeeping and getting some kills at these different types of circles, and they're finding themselves already in a position for that.
What a first circle to give us, because how do you rotate into it? There's no wrapping around, there's no smart, try and get in on the quiet side. You're so limited in the space you have to maneuver. We have rice fields, we know they're all kinds of atrocious to have to drive through, and then you have a select few paths coming into the city proper, and oh my God, here, if PO falls, there will be a huge loss for Gen G. They've just been given a game, both these two teams have just been given a game with a circle right where they want it. So if either Sonics or Gen G takes casualties now, it would be terrible.
He is so sneaky, tries to get away from it, but I don't know how he can really get away from it, right? It's he's now been revealed out in position.
I don't think he has any meds either.
Gen G's going to try to come up and support this one, but the rest of Sonics are already coming down. They don't like the fact that somebody's going to be this close to him. At least smoking out this angle, but I mean, look at where we see Mime coming from.
Gen G,
they're making their approach, but you can see that they're not necessarily in the best position to be doing so. I think that they're just trying to hit and run, get out of here, but Shrimzy's position not going to allow that.
Does Sonics want to take this fight is my question. They're sat in first place. I think Adrian would really want to get out of here and get out of here alive. Yes, there might be points for you to grab, but you have such a good circle in your favor. Taking the fight here, potentially taking casualties and losing the game because of it could be them missing that first place. But Adrian, nothing he can really do right now to get out of it is trying to stick around, trying to at least take some players down with him as it makes his way out on the balcony.
I like this. Just move full on defense. Everybody on Gen G is going to be cresting up that hillside. If H1 gets a read that this is not going to go his way, he can try to jump out, get away from this one, but he's going to brave back in. EJ's going to be pushing right up, right into the wall. Pounds just lands, and H1 says, hell no! This is my compound, this is my circle, we're in first place, we're staying there.
Bazooka in hand, H-Win says no. 3 kills, PO, the one that started the commotion, is the sole survivor, trying to make the runoff, trying to go into the fields, trying to become as small as possible, but Sonics already see him. He should be down, and indeed, no. Not just yet. He's gonna stay alive at least for a little while longer. But Sonic's out of there alive, and there you have it in the end. You can see on PO's face shaking his head in frustration. This is not what they wanted. They were not ready for H-Win to be sat up top with a Panzerfaust in hand.
If you're wondering why that was such a committal, it's because what you were talking about. We've got the rice paddies. They're gonna eat up so much of this. We've got Aoyong that not really anybody's wanting to go down into just quite yet. And then we've got to get the hills that are gonna be to the southwest of this one. And then the area around Gangneung. But that's really about it. Nobody's wanting to commit into these urban environments because it has just been disaster for teams, as we've seen so many big pushes. Oh, just so he bold pushes back up. This is a play you make when you're in first and you know you've got the points to play around with.
Exactly. DG couldn't get the angle on him either. Actually had a few shots onto H-Win where where he was trying to get the flushes. DG had the shots on him, but I think his teammates proned in front of him, blocked off the ankle, so he couldn't get it properly in there. Unlucky for Gen G. Again, saw the frustrations on their faces. They knew what this game would have meant with them currently sat in 13th and game PT just 1 point behind him. There's no telling where they're going to end up by the end of this game.
It's one of those IGL, by the way, kind of moments that you got to keep an eye on. As we do see kind of a collapse up into the north, it's going to be 4 Angry Men getting kind of close to a very wide split coming out from 17 Gaming. No big crazy shifts just quite yet. Again, centered meta going to continue, and Sonic's actually after that firefight moves back into a 2-2.
They sure do. Smart rotation on their part to instantly try and reposition, but they're on 5 as well in their emergency pickups. We've seen them use it to full effect before. I'm curious to see where they're up into land this time around, as they are still flying in the air. Na'Vi gonna play this one a bit slower. They're already in a pretty decent spot in the circle. They have a city on the southern side should they want to claim it. But they're playing this one smart, as the previous game didn't really go the way that they wanted it to.
New contender going to be approaching on a Sonic's line, and that's going to be Tyloo. That's just trying to play right up against that red wall itself. You can see that they're going to play with their backs against the zone wall, so that way they don't have to worry about anybody creeping in back behind them. So smart play, navigating a pretty weird circle, all considered, as it is going to be, looks like T5 making an approach over here as well.
They see them in the air. 2 players already down there, and 5 trying to fly straight down to the 2-2 split. They've read the split. It's not the worst idea. Issue is Strimsy is here. He's found the one, already found the double make that, but he is going to go down. So Sonics off to a great start with the 5 kills, but Strimsy has fallen.
Still trying to see if they can get some more out of that. Every single kill that they're picking up, though, they know is so vital. Expendables on the opposite end of that is like, please, sir, can I have some of this? I need just any point that I can conceivably have. And Panzerfaust on the opposing side. We just saw the power of it. It's going to be 2 members walking back to back, and this is a nice modification. Usually when you try to push a compound like this, you want to run 2 together, but TE also joining the firefight.
Yep, joining in from the other side is Hatsuat. Now peeks on out, instantly takes down Tiggleton. Nothing you can do against the bazooka up close. Down to 100 HP goes Hatsuat, but able to sit around the side. So kills have come through for Sonics, but again, taking casualties. Hatsuat will fall as Expendables are now here finding kills of their own.
Sonics just one out at this stage. 2 explosive, 2 powerful, but don't forget about Tyloo, who backfilled into the position just 1 moment ago. That was going to be where Sonics were held out. Since they made the play to try to defend this, they've kind of lost their territory control that they had such a death grip on a moment ago.
Exactly. Very, very smart read by Tyloo to come in from the southern side, understand what's going on, and instead of trying to full-on third party the fight, go, wait, they just gave us a free center compound. Oh, hell yeah, we'll take that. Smart play on their part, and now for Mime and for HWin, it's not looking too good. The good thing for them is they already have 7 points this game, so it's not going to be a terrible one. But of course, knowing that Perfectix from Twisted Minds has had some of his best games on this map in particular, it's not something you want to allow to have happen.
FaZe reading that kill feed, realizing the fact that this is probably going to be an easy pickup for them. Mime going down. HWin just going to have to play, see if maybe he can get the vehicle over here. Is going to be able to block that sight line, but as we see, it's going to be FaZe pretty split across this, and that's one of the reasons that we saw the problem. Mime did manage to at least get away from 1 firing line, but look where Fex is going to be at, and this vehicle just not in a good condition. Any more shots into it just going to spell the death of Sonics.
James is going to run on forward. We've seen him get a little, I won't say greedy, but eager at times before, where it's cost FaZe dearly. So now the rest will come through, and there's no proper windows to get a good nade in here. Maybe a blue zone nade will blow up. Yep, you're already seeing it in the right-hand corner there. Blue zone nade lopped on forward. Even if the rest comes through, there should be no way for Mime to be able to get a first aid off in time. As I say that, nope, he will fall down to it. And now James single-handedly up against HWin.
Charging in, Gustav on one side, but HWin not done. He is vibing right now. He wants to try to make sure that he secures up for his team. Nade's gonna go out, but FaZe still has the numbers. Pick up 1 more kill before you go, right? Shot's now gonna come in opposing side on this one, as, man, it is everybody in the lobby after Sonics right now. They smell the blood in the water, and the Sharks are circling.
And again, FaZe going back to mistakes of the past in how they have 4 people in the area. They can all come in here together, but James, too eager, wants to go for it. Ends up with him going down, unluckily for him and the team. But of course, still far from over the game from FaZe here, as Ghost of and Fix will be able to wrap back to safety.
Meanwhile, there's Twisted Minds that's over here into the west, that's kind of close to FaZe, but just like, nah, you guys go forth, do the work for me. Yeah. Now I have an opportunity to try to catch up, but let's be real. 8 kills is still a hell of amount of points to put up inside of a game whenever you go out early.
I mean, they're going to finish top 6 or something like that overall in terms of points accumulated this entire game. Normally, we don't have more than 3, maybe 4 teams in double digits in one match. So, an 8-point game for Sonics here. If you're going to have a bad game today, and this is it, you're going to be very satisfied.
If this is a bad game, then
Exactly.
Don't even care. You can see it's kind of hard to even bring in all the maps.
You can't see the entire map. That's how far east we are.
The only things that you guys are kind of missing is we do have Danawa that's just up to the northeast. It's going to be Forest that's just a bit past that. Circle going to go in this direction, and now you're seeing why everybody's been fighting over this territory. This is kind of the expectation on how the circle was going to go.
Well, yeah, right down the middle. Issues the middle is still containing a lot of unplayable territory out towards that eastern side. But almost everyone has managed to make their way on, and we have, of course, taken the loss of 3 full teams already. So there's a little more wiggling room, which, of course, is necessary when you have this little space to maneuver.
You were talking about it coming into this one when we were just kind of like chit-chatting in between rounds. The impressive nature of Cerberus just climbing this leaderboard. I mean, it's tooth and nail for them, but they are finding ways to get back up into a very respectable position.
Definitely is, as they come right in further forward here. They're still missing Tycon, their most southern player, trying to regroup with the team, but where do they go? Are they eyeing the compound of Expendables as well? Now shots being fired, and I think now Cerberus is realizing that that is not theirs for the taking.
Quiet outside. I just want to keep giving you guys ideas on where we're seeing Twisted Minds at. They're going to be outside the circle, one of the few squads that are at time. They do have 17 Gaming as well as FaZe in front of them. And more shots as the Expendables trying to find something to make this work. They've got a big gap in front of them, but every single kill gets them closer.
That is Salolsi getting a warning near my compound. Get within my sight and you will fall, my friend. Delvin is not allowing him to make that rotation without paying for it.
Forest, they had to make a bit of a desperation push along this line right now, but they do manage to make it all 4 members in. They are going to be next to Cerberus. They're playing up against the wall as well, as these are very uncomfortable neighbors with just this hillside between them. I'm not too surprised, but Cerberus doesn't know that this is coming. They're in vehicles right now, and that's going to be Hisaki spotted early. Solzy also going to be getting some bullets go his way as Cerberus playing with this wall position. Thought that they had more space to work with than they did.
Whenever things have gone the way of Forest Gaming, this player right here has usually been the one to make it happen. Scabby trying to make a lot happen for the Forest team, as I think they're trying to fall off and fall back from this position. It's not optimal. They're already now getting shot at by Expendables on the other side. They came up, they got themselves 1 kill. That's more pressure alleviated should this fight happen later on in the game too. Now they know they have Cerberus right next door. They can wrap back up towards where they were before and sit tight and wait for the next circle to pop.
Speaking of awkward next door neighbors, you can see Batulins has moved in pretty close to 17 Gaming, but really just Batulins. The rest of Twisted Minds getting shot by FaZe. FaZe is trying to assert authority. This has been, whenever they can get a position like this in the circle, this is where they feel most comfortable. Look what they did to Sonics a second ago, harassing into Twisted Minds right now. Forcing them into more of that 17 line is preferable for them because they have some pretty good pathings that they can make out of this position as long as they can control this territory this effectively.
A lot of this circle center as well currently has no one in it. It's an open hillside. It's hard to really take advantage of. There's one shack in the middle, sure, but not really all you can play around with it. So if this circle does send up towards that northwest side, it's going to be very difficult for some of these teams to really get anything going at all. In the meantime, now Shawu with the arm in hand, looking for, I think they heard the vehicle from Batulins early, and they're like, he's got to be here somewhere.
Batulins doing scouting as Batulins do. I mean, that is his job. Yeah, there's a lot of brains back behind that one, but he loves to make sure to get the information himself so that way he can make sure to feed the information correctly over to his teammates. He is going to make sure that he's trying to get them into the circle as, yes, it is going to be the rest of the squad now coming in. Circle does shift pretty heavily, still keeping in a big section of that red line and a big chunk of those rice paddies to the south, too.
Look at how many teams up on the northern side that has nowhere to go. Compound crashes are about to happen with a lot of teams, I would imagine, because again, these open spaces are practically impossible to utilize. And now here comes Twisted, 3 in a car, make that 4, as now Xiao Bei is going to be the first line of defense against almost the entirety of Twisted Minds as the car goes. Bye-bye.
Bye. They stopped in here. The Batulins fed the information over, but vehicle now going to be gone. That being a distraction that they did not need at this stage.
You say distraction. I say, I mean, what probably could lose them in the game. They were 3 in that car. They have nothing else to maneuver with. They're going Batulins. Did you have a bike or something? something? Because we kind of need that car back. Could you please fetch it?
There's 2 over here. There is Lou that's still playing back in the blue zone right now to protect this angle on the hillside, so they might be able to get an Uber come pick them up. Lil Ghost playing down below this one, and again, this is just all tactically fed over coming from Batulans, realizing that this is going to be a bad rotation for us, so we need to pick up some kill points. We need to kind of balance out what's been going on with Sonic.
Xiaobei is creating the angle for his teammates, and now the peek on over. There's actually Xiaobei up here on the hills. Little Ghost is the one to try and bait the attention. They knew that they had them close. He had heard the footsteps. Now the peek comes through. Few shots missed, though, but Batulans from the northern side finds Little Ghost in return.
Slowing back down the pacing on this one, just playing the hillside itself, trying to find time for Batulans and Lou to both come into this one. Nate is going to hit, make those ears ring, but the reinforcements are now coming. Batulans actually going to stop out directly in front of Xiao Wu to stop him from being able to reinforce this, try and make sure that he can't make any plays into it, but it's going to be Gustav. Never count out FaZe. They hear a firefight, and they want some kill points.
Yeah, FaZe grabbing in from one side, Dano are doing the same thing from the other, as Batulans now is taken down by Xiao Wu. Spirit has seen him at a distance, and he is going to get hurt, but FaZe 3 damage, of course, not too bad. Xiao Wu tries to get one with the arm, not going to connect.
And we have more that's going to be brewing in this as Danoa here is the Salute and Soul, both moving up the hillside, realizing that there are kill points to be had for themselves, and they want to make sure that they can try to climb just a bit behind Question Mark itself. With this, the hillside, the safety that was being provided a second ago is being more and more complex as it is going to be a crunch. 17 Gaming trying to bypass through this, and looks like the blue zone going to stop out, try to support their squad, but this is still just phase 3, so it's not the end of the world, but I will say it is pretty bad when we see FaZe and Danoa now firmly gatekeeping.
Sat in on the other side, just waiting for what's going to be remaining of this fight to come their way. The only issue could be that the fight between them might happen before they would even wanted it to. Xiaobei peeks on over, finds one, might get the second one as well. They've heard the footsteps from Spiro, attacks in the foot as well, as he's trying to make his way to safety. Flash, lopped on over, is going to force them to get into new positions.
Just down, so close right now, sneaking into this one, the last one up. Dreams for his squad. They know that Sonic's put up a big amount of numbers. They need to get something out of this, but so heavily outnumbered. Smoke's going to be pluming around him out in the blue zone. Fortunately, finds an angle onto one of them, but just clinging to life right now. He's revealed himself out. Suju playing the Smoke's gonna spot it, and there we go. Spyro's going to go down to the zone itself, and that FaZe and as well as Danoa firefight going on.
Twisted Minds knew that with Sonics out early, this was their chance to catch up once more, but no other team is going to have a big smile on their faces as Sonic off of seeing them go down. And in the meantime, what we were talking about just before is that if FaZe and Dano are both set up here to try and take down 17 after this, they might be forced to fight one another. And that's exactly what has just happened as Loki finds Gustav.
Looking in, it's going to be FaZe Clan eliminated. The hunt not going to be able to go too well for them. While this is happening, guess what? Another team having the exact same idea is going to be the Expendables. Looking into Danoa taking those shots as 17 Gaming just cannot get their feet underneath of them, and more firefights. But, question mark, Danoa, opportunity. Can you survive through this one? Number 1 and number 2 are out. If you want to try to close that gap, now's the time.
We talked about the 2-horse race. More horses might just be added to it at the end of this match. Xiao Wu getting a few more mets here, as I don't think there's any reason to try and rest Sushu, I should say, sorry. We'll see now, though, if Danoa on the western rotate can get their foot on in. They have a position from where they can play. Issue is, are they going to be within vision of Na'Vi out west?
Oh, yeah, they're in vehicles. They're just cresting down. They're going to be running right into a waiting Na'Vi. See, trying to prep out nades, instead shifts over the guns, realizing that this is going to be a close pass. Nothing too crazy, just some damage coming out. But now that's going to force them down into the rice paddies themselves. Very few options to work around, and it's going to be Falcons, Capitan, Silzen going with that 1-2 punch, trying to stall them out, and it is just death over here to be found for them as Capitan just holds it for his squad.
Solid hold, solid maneuvering around the shack there to take down the first, realizing where the second was, and then peek back down for the third once more. Great positioning there for Falcons. They knew where to expect the pushes to come in from, and they had set up a perfect plan to execute when a team would come around.
Down to 10 teams already in phase number 4. And yes, there is still one member at 17 Gaming that's alive, waiting for everybody to leave. He's up there in the north. We might see him try to bisect his way down here in just 1 second, but I feel like the story that we should be looking at right now is what's going on. We've got Ty Lu holding down a strong position, question mark. Falcons with their split in Cerberus. Yeah. It's going to be brutal coming into the circle.
Everyone is trying to play control right now. The only team with control of both the compound and open spaces is 4 AM down towards the south, but everyone right now is fighting themselves in a position from where, if we get one good circle, this might be a winning game. So I would be very surprised to see any fights start happening within the next 15 seconds. No reason to aggress now, when with one good shift your way, you could potentially go out and win the match.
Joe's still just trying to sneak his way down, but the Expendables know that there's still probably some remnants that are going to be coming in on that angle, making sure to keep Tanvu, maybe Duck Juice over there to see what's going to be happening with it. Circle is about to pop, and we're going right into the thick of a terrible rotation for everybody that's not inside the circle.
How, oh how do you place the rise field, or play the rise fields at this point in the game? Na'Vi, do you wrap on the northern side or play down south? The thing is, with Question Mark and Tyloo in full control of the compounds, with access to second floors in the buildings too, you'd imagine they would have great position and great angle to spot you in those fields out below.
The only big benefit that we're going to be looking at is the hillside that's going to be into the east. Whenever we have Tyloo's positioning and Question Mark's positioning, it's not going to have power to really influence what's going to be going on in the rice paddies. This is going to move into a much more vertical firefight, even though it has, yes, those hills in play, just because those are too risky of hills to be played at this time. As you can see, Forrest trying to make their way a bit more down this hillside, get into that position where we see If You Mind Game PT kind of playing from.
Yeah. Forrest, I think, trying to set up. Initially, I think they were setting up to try and keep out Game PT, but now realizing that there's only really one way for Expendables to go. They have to prioritize a potential fight up north. In the meantime, now Na'Vi, realizing there's only so many places they could go. They have to go to the compound sooner or later. And here they come. Pre-nades locked on out as the first one falls instantly. Alia falls down as well, and now it's just Uber left alive. And again, a great example of Question Mark being ready for where to expect the threats from. 2 players down from Na'Vi on approach.
Look at this. Vehicles even firmly protected, information being fed over. Dante looks like it's going to be his job to go for the res into this one. Best of luck, just going to be holding the angle. A doozy. I mean, just firm, solid defense here. There was just, if you want to see how to defend that compound, that was it. Because even Na'Vi tried to use the lack of windows, that hillside, to come in over here and Question Mark read. This is going to be how we're approached, and we know where we're vulnerable.
Exactly. Uber trying to use as much utility as he possibly can. A doozy getting in over it. Dante will be the one to get the kill in the end, but the pressure was applied as Na'Vi fall in 10th. In the meantime, a second push does come through as 4 AM are forced to take the fight towards the northeast. Game PT taking a casualty already, but Babsang is back on his feet.
If You Mind gonna have some problems is if they retreat to the north, it's gonna be where Forrest is at. The only benefit of that is it is gonna be Tanvu from the Expendables taking some shots into what's gonna be going on with Forrest right now, so they can't really do too much inside of this firefight. 4 Angry Men realizing this is a no man's land. Let's see if we can try to get some kills, maybe just try to get a bit of control over this compound and walk it in, because you can see there are a couple of like these little shacks that are gonna be in front of them that they can kind of play from, and they are going to try to leapfrog to get into that position. So If You Mind Game PT starting to lose more and more control over this.
Dodging and weaving, trying to get ahead of their opponents as Daku does go down. Forrest is still yet to get a proper impact in this fight, but they are eyeing up this fight from up north. 4 AM trying to use this position to the best of their ability, but they're so limited in what they can do. Look at the angle for Master here. Spots them all, but only damage done, no knocks confirmed.
Just any form of harassment, though, just makes it so much harder for If You Mind. There's nowhere for them to go. They can't be playing into the north now. Now they've got to shift back into the south. In that entrenched area that we see 4 Angry Men, the crossfire that they have set up, this was their home, and it has just been taken from them.
Yep, not a whole lot they can do, if anything, at this point. Circle shifts towards the west once more as well. So what was a gatekeep from them is now going to be a gatekeep from Cerberus, the next one in line alongside Falcons. For 4 AM for Forrest, how, oh how do you maneuver into this next circle?
Oh my lord, we're going to keep so much of that Tyloo compound, that Question Mark compound in play, even Cerberus's compound. Forrest, 4 Angry Men, the Expendables. This is going to be you knock with your guns and you try to find a way into these compounds.
And it's all the teams on the hunt that are set in the positions to really rack up points here. So curious to see who's going to come out victorious. Curious to see who's going to make the most of what has just been a very favorable shifts for these teams that are set in safety.
And the way that the shifts have come, most of the teams are actually on the opposing side of the circle for Question Mark, which is bad for them. They want these kills. This is their opportunity game to try to catch up some. And yes, they do have some vision on what's going on that hillside, but there's enemies that are way closer to try to pick up those kills, even if they get those knocks. So yes, it's great that they've got this position, but at the same time, it's kind of a double-edged sword because they can't get the points that they really, really want out of it.
I mean, placement points are still points. We'll see how many they can rack up, because you'd have to imagine that a few teams are going to go down before they get inside. What is this next circle? Sololsi gets knocked down. Munto Olympus instantly to fall right after. Tanvu making the MK12 really, really work in his favor.
just Scappy trying to move forward. He's going to get spotted. Master not too far away from him. You can see him having to dodge the vehicle as it rolls up next to him. But the Expendables, I don't think are going to let him make this too much comfy position for him to be able to play from. Trying to balance out that one. I do like the modification, realizing, hey, there might be somebody closer. I've been cooking this for a second. Let's bounce it off the tree itself. Expendables were playing a bit further back, and uh-oh.
I hear it.
Mortars coming in.
When it wasn't chaotic enough already, let's add some mortars to it, and who is better off at using the team sat comfortably in the compounds to the east. Expendables, if they can get rid of Forest here, they're going to have plenty of space to maneuver on that eastern side still. But Dog Juices don't want it there. Peeking on over. Sanwu, though, doesn't have to. The utility does it for him, and now they get to claim the spot.
And here comes 4 angry men. They're pushing into the Cerberus compound. They're trying to make the best of a bad situation. But Falcons realize this. They're hopping inside the vehicles, and they're pinching this moment. They realize that this is going to be a firefight to get control of what's going to be going on in here over to the east. And while that's happening, the Expendables spotted that rotation, and now it is just everybody down here into the southeast.
It still is a 0-kill game for Cerberus. They want to get more with it as one falls. But 2 players down. Him as the only one left alive. But again, if there's been any time that a player's needed to step up on the side of Cerberus, Himas has usually been the one to do just that. But he is alone against the entirety of 4 AM, and he will fall too.
4 AM just taking another one. They are just real estate moguls right now, just taking every bit of everything from anybody. They see something, it becomes mine. And now Falcons trying to get their reset just up on top. As you can see, DraftKings, it's going to be Silzen that's going to try to defend up, but let's not forget, we did have question mark that was starting to give a couple eyes into this. Emmy for Falcons is playing very far to the west, so has a defendable angle to make sure that his teammates that are playing on this western side have some safety.
Circle once again shifting up towards question mark and Tyloo, the final bosses of this match for all these teams that have been brawling their way in from the southeast and taking casualties with every single fight they've had to go through. It looks to be a good one for question mark for Tyloo, regardless of how this one pans out.
Oh, Ghost in the window and just waiting for that one. Just not going to let it happen. He's going to get popped, though. Capitan finding some ways to get his team into this one. Crazy's going to be on the outside, and yet again, Capitan making some plays.
Solid shots coming through. Crucial that they get to stay put. They have Amix and off angle. They're only 2 up close, but nice angle for HS. Issue is the flash is perfectly timed. And now, with the vehicle in front, Silson needs to make a play. He needs to deal with HS inside. Flash locked on in, pushes on forward, and that, my friends, is Falcons up to 9.
Look at this. So many kills that they are racking up right now. The problem is they've got to make a move into the circle. Expendables do as well. They're just going to go ahead and go for a sin right along this line, but it's right after the Falcons fight ends. Emmy from that range position gonna spot that one out, and God, man, look, question mark just waiting for somebody to move into this. They want it so bad.
They've been set up here the entire game, just saying, oh, anyone's getting near us, great. We've not had to use any utility yet, so now is the time. On approach, taken down instantly.
Tyloo just needing a couple of points to see if maybe they can catch up to 17. Anything will get them above Cerberus right now, but Falcons going to be nipping at their heels, wanting to get some more. Problem with it, though, is it's going to be Falcons having to move into this very open sideline for question mark.
I kind of like how the entire southeast is on fire right now, because it was the northwest before, but because the fights between all those teams up there kind of got all of them killed together. Twisted Mind, 17, Danawa, Face Clan as well. They all just mutually destroyed one another. Now the teams in the compounds towards that northwest side, who should have been fighting those teams later, are going, well, we didn't have to fight them, so come to us, guys. We're ready for it.
Question mark, this could be your game. You've got Falcons in your sight lines. They're trying to navigate through, but Falcons, I don't know what's going on with them. Oh, Capitan catches some airtime, and he is going to go down at probably one of the worst possible moments. Best of luck, though. Going to take down Longs, make it not quite so bad, but that blue zone nade, that's going to be about all she wrote.
Yeah, one guaranteed at least. Silson's going to try and prone this one out and try and see if maybe he can get himself a top 2 spot in this game with 4 alive on each side. You'd imagine that the win is out of reach. 13% is what the game gives him.
Oh my God.
He really needs everything to work in his favor in order to come out victorious
with
here.
This new circle pop, this means that the road is the center point in position. There are a couple of, like you can see, pieces of cover that can be played here, but this is going to be the firefight, 4 angles, and with this Tyloo, see these walls that they can play? This is going to be massive for them in this in-game firefight, is they're going to be able to navigate a lot more angles than we're going to see question mark, and question mark still has to deal with Sills, and it's going to be hiding behind them.
Exactly, not going to be easy whatsoever. for at least for Silton to try and make his way on through. But as you're saying, how much of an impact does he end up having? I think if you're Tai Lu right now, yes, you want the points, but you might as well just allow for Silton to stay put for a little while longer. Let Question Mark deal with that issue, or be forced to deal with that issue, while you, as you can see here, try and do as much damage as you can to them. Use him as your 5th team member effectively.
Just being patient with it. They've got this flat top that they're playing from. They've got, again, those walls down in front of them. Tai Lu having a lot of advantages in this as Question Mark's going to go, okay, we're going to have to make sure that we make a lot out of utility. Luckily, they have had some utility that has been delivered to them, so they can kind of use that in these different stages. But they had to also use a lot of those throwables that they were wanting to use for this firefight on a road against Falcons and some of these other pushes that have come their way.
You see a Doozy, 5 smokes to work with, but no nades, no mollies. Might have a blue zone nade or 2, but that's going to be all she wrote. In the meantime now, who's going to be able to claim it as we look down towards the mortar? I'd be surprised if at this point in the game we're going to see the mortar playing, but who knows? Who knows? The compound just on the other side of the road.
It is a road. If you'd have to move it, I think, a bit further back than its present positioning to even be able to get it to land where you want it to, but looking out, Question Mark, all the variables are against them right now, right? They have to deal with the thorn in their side. They've got kind of a lack of effort. They do have some fences that can be played, yes, but they don't give as many angles as we can see on the Tai Lu side to work with, and that's one of the things. Add in the flat top as well. Silzen, this is one thing.
Did they forget about me? No.
His LAN experience means the fact that he is coming into this one. He knows how to play this. He knows exactly what his job is.
Yes.
All he's going to be after is 1 KP. If he can get 1 KP or at least get 2nd place, that's his victory.
Trying to stay put for as long as possible as a Doozy now with a bike, moving out into the open. A little bit of damage being done early on, but he got over to his car trying to swap vehicles, but a headshot comes through. He's down to 2 HP. That would have been a crucial knock for Tai Lu, but the Doozy gets to live with the scare.
Uh-oh, and with this, Silzen's moving more to the road. It looks like he might be looking into that Tai Lu line more than what he's going to be looking at Question Mark. Any head that presents itself is going to be what he's going for, but it's going to be Shin of everybody to go down at that point. Question Mark getting a much-needed advantage finally.
Silzen saying, I've done what I can, boys. Now it's on you to take out Tai Lu. We'll see if it can happen with Dante and Phil first up on the roof. It seems to me like Xiao Yang and the remaining players of Tai Lu knows exactly where they have him. Phil first to fall, as more nades are bound to come through.
That was a beautifully cooked nade. If they keep on going with this, it is going to be so hard for Dante to kind of navigate any of it. But notice a Doozy. He's already down on his belly. He's moving in. Tai Lu just aggressing right on top of this one. They're not going to even let them get to the road. But notice, they have no cover. Stepping out of Doozy gets sprayed to 1, but he's going to go down.
Needed more in order to get this one home, I'm afraid, as Dante peeks on over, finds one. Best of luck now, finds one as well. The old angles keep coming through, and just like that, Question Mark out victorious. Tai Lu thought that a Doozy was the up-close threat, but in reality, he was just the bait. He was the attention.